I am Tracy Reifferscheid. I am one of the success coaches that works with Cory Michelle. And I get the opportunity to have a chat with one of my favorite people that I have just recently met that is so dynamic. She is a beautiful, potent creator. Actually, I'm going to say a firecracker type of creator. And this is Lumi Love. I had the opportunity to get to be one of her success coach in Transform Yourself. And she's got this beautiful light. And one of the things that I loved about Lumi, before I completely introduce her, I just want to say this is that she just jumped in. She had such a beautiful vulnerability and awarenesses and what she's creating and how she's showing up when did we meet? Like 10 weeks ago, Lumi, I think.
Yeah, it was like the second or third week of June. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just, is so dynamic. Like this is a totally different person than which she was pretty damn dynamic to begin with. But how she's showing up and what she is creating is phenomenal. So just a little bit about Lumi, that she always knew that there was more in life. And what was appearing to be. So she's like, there was that hunger, that drive of, I know there's something greater, there's something more. And now she's actually just rediscovering the truth of how the world works and embracing the magic that's available to her every day. So we're going to go through just, have a chat.
Okay.
I would love, Lumi, if you could share with everybody, what was your life like just before? Like, let's go right back to, just before you joined Transform Yourself.
Okay.
What was
Great.
showing up in your world? Who were you at that time?
Well, I had been involved. I had already been involved with this healing modality for 18 years. And I had already shifted a lot of stuff, cleared a lot of stuff. And I knew what was possible. And there were still a few little glitches. And I said for years that I live a charmed life because whatever I really, really want, like it tends to show up. And I wanted it to be fine-tuned. And when I got the email about the TYP, I was like, yeah, I don't think that's for me. But it kept pinging me and it kept pinging me. And I was talking to one of my practitioners about it. And he just said to me, he was like, Lumi, look how your energy shifted just talking about this. Mm-hmm. So I sat with that on the way home. And as soon as I got home, I signed up for the Transform Yourself program. And I just decided to go all in. I have no problems like being vulnerable and just like surrendering, because I've been on that path for a while with my husband's diagnosis and subsequent departure. Like I just surrendered to that over and over again. And so I'd already had this pattern of surrendering to life. And so I felt the call to do this. And so, yeah, I was all in.
Oh, love that. So, yeah, well, and you were all in, like, you were like, I'm having this, I am ready for whatever shows up. Like you really, dove into it, like no holds back, because
Right.
in that you were also feeling a little unwell at times because your body was upgrading.
Yes.
In that, right? And you're still like, no, I know this is part of this. I'm on this path. And you kept asking questions. So what shifted a little bit in your perspective? Was there any shift of perspective?
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. I would say the shift of perspective for me is like, I will say that I learned that any information that I got that previously would have been painful, it's all just data, right? It's all just data. It's just information. And I was able to look at it from like the perspective of that future me. And I was able to look at it from like, well, if this is just information and I'm not attached to what it appears to be, like any kind of like business relationships that were ending or things that had happened, things that I said or did that precipitated like the end of a business relationship with a certain individual, I was like, okay, well, this is just information, and I need to have this information in order to move forward to create this thriving online coaching business that I'm creating. And so that was a very, very integral lesson. And to have learned that lesson in the least painful way possible was just beautiful. And so I was just following my awareness, and I was having awarenesses left, right, and center. And I was like, okay, look, that's an awareness. That's an awareness. And I couldn't list all of them, like to trot them all out now, but I just knew that I was having these awarenesses, and I was like, look at that. That's so cool. I'm having that awareness, and I'm choosing a different response based on where I'm going. And that future version of me that's having all of this that I'm creating, and I'm choosing to respond from that version of me.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Oh, and it's been beautiful to actually witness, because I recall our first conversation, right? When you, after you'd done the future and what you were asking for, right? Like what you were leaving to what you were like, hey, this is where I want to create. I'm going to, and how you've been navigating that, and your asks, you've even up leveled,
Yeah.
even greater.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was really cool, because it was from how am I going to do this? Being unsure and almost like looking for the logical, how can I create this,
Mm-hmm.
from the knowing, right? To
Mm-hmm.
really stepping into and embracing your knowing and your awareness, that future you.
Mm-hmm.
So, which, I'm just curious, when you tapped into your future self, when you did the activation that Cory has in that
Mm-hmm.
specific module, what are you comfortable sharing? What that?
It just became crystal clear. Like, I've always known it's not my business how things are going to show up,
Mhm.
but like, I am embodying that. It's not my business how it's going to show up. I can trust that it's going to show up exactly the way that it needs to show up, and the best way for it to show up for everyone involved. So I'm just putting out for what I'm manifesting. And I'm like, okay, universe, show me how this is going to show up. Right. And I'm not wasting my energy trying to figure out how it's going to work out.
Mhm.
I'm just focusing on what I want and embodying that energy and embodying what it feels like, what it looks
Mhm.
like, what it smells like. And I'm just going confidently in that direction, knowing, trusting that it's going to show up, putting out for, hey, gratitude for however it showed up. And I'm embodying that future version of me. So I'm living from that place right now, today,
Mm.
and every day.
Oh, I love that.
Does that make sense?
This, yeah, totally. Well, and because like what I perceive from that very first meeting that we, session that we jumped in together, is that you were asking the questions. It's like, this is what I'm really wanting to go. This is the creation. And I'm not going to out all your things, because
Oh,
there's
you
things
can. I don't care.
that
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
So she was like, I want to leave my hair business of 40 years. How
Mhm,
can I do that? We were like looking at how can she create money with that. So there
mhm,
was a lot of really cool questions that came up. And even like, because her goal is to have, well, not goal, I shouldn't say goal, the target,
mhm,
which she knew was attainable, that was in her quantum field, was this successful online coaching business. and a move from the US to Spain. Right. And then it kind of tweaked a little bit of like, oh, I don't even have to have this all in place, because as you were navigating and doing every module, the different awarenesses that I got to perceive that you were having and that you were sharing with everybody in the group, and, was like you were willing to also be that flexibility of like, ooh, I've been willing to ask for this. Oh, now this is going to show up.
Mhm.
Ooh, now a new opportunity. Oh, I wonder where else things can show up.
Right.
So I've loved watching that journey. Like so when I say you're like this firecracker of, energy of creation, it's so applicable for you. This
Yeah.
beautiful light. So was there any one thing, or was there a couple of things that really kind of catapulted, or maybe was a catalyst that you can recall for you in your creation process that we can gift, people that are watching?
I would say I dove into every single module.
Yeah, you did.
I just dove in, and I was, it was my intention. Like, I was like a sponge, and I didn't have any preconceived notions about me doing anything. And I just received all of the information, and I don't even know how to explain it, except I was just diving in with no preconceived notions. And I just absorbed as much as I could of every module. And I put it into place immediately. I just immediately like absorbed all that I could absorb from that. And every single morning I get up and I say out loud what my energetic priority is. I use all of my now I statements. I do my 5D reality roadmap, and like my targets, I say those out loud every day. And I say the reframe statements every morning. Like, I have this whole list of things that I do every single morning. And then I was talking to my friend Sharon this afternoon, and she was asking me some questions too. And it's like I'm never not aware of what my targets are, especially like the top two, the business and Spain. And so I am never not aware of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm always in the energy of what's possible.
I love that. And you
really
are.
Me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who are you now from who you were?
I have let go of my energy addictions, I feel, because one of the forms that I filled out was like, what were they? And I didn't know.
Yeah.
I said, oh, I could go back and look them up, but I don't feel that that's productive because they're already in the past. And I am, gosh, I feel like I'm so different because I'm not worrying. I'm not playing the mind game of, oh, what if it doesn't work out? Like, I'm not making sure that I have like a fallback. Like my hair business, I wanted to transition out of that 18 years ago. So I'm still in 18 years later. And now I'm like, I definitely know that I am being pulled in another direction. And I am being asked to step up and to step into this new reality. So I just decided, okay, it's time. Like, I'm done. Like I told you, I am done. I said the F word around with this, and it's time for it to manifest. And so I am a person that is so much more confident in what's possible. I am so much more confident in what I'm targeting for because I have an inner knowing, and I trust that it is coming, that it's manifesting in the proper time. and it's, I feel like my life is so amazing. Like I feel so good every single day. Even if I have a physical thing that maybe this body's upgrading or what have you, I am 100% confident that my targets will be realized. And
I love that, Lumi.
and that
Uh,
wasn't me before.
yeah.
Because part of the thing was like, oh, yeah, I know that's possible. And there was this part of me is like, yeah, it's possible for other people and not for me. And I was like,
Ooh,
oh, no, screw that. No.
yeah, yeah.
I'm here to do big things and big work, and I'm
Mhm.
here to be a major contribution. And me playing small and me, going, oh, well, not for me, that's not serving myself or anyone else. So that's over.
Oh, I love it. And yes, you did. You were like, I am not effing around. And if you catch me doing that, please tell me.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Yes, I love that.
Thanks.
Well, honestly, I'm going to say like what just seeing the confidence, the clarity, and even the freedom. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know Corey talks a lot about that, and that's what a lot of people are looking for. And I actually like in this program of, what I've gotten to see you,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen all three of those, like the internal shifts
Mm-hmm.
and then the external of what things are showing up. She's having like random magical or random conversations, and magical things are showing up
Yes.
from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I just keep any little nudge that I get, I just do it. Like I'm doing videos on social now, like promoting my new business. And I am just like talking to people, and I'll bring stuff up that I never would have brought up before because I don't know how this is going to work out. And
Yeah.
I'm being given these opportunities to take steps forward. And so I'm taking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, I love it. And you're like, I'm leaning in, I'm doing this is happening. um So I'm just curious if anybody that's watching, if they have any questions for you specifically of what you're creating or how you're creating it. I'm just going to open up so I can see any comments on that. Is there anything else that you're wanting to share?
I guess what I would like to share is, if you have a dream, go for it. It's possible. It's possible for everyone. We are magical beings, and we have everything we need to create the life of our dreams. So just go for it. And if you need help, we're here. I can't recommend the TYP highly enough. Honestly, I cannot. It was a major game changer for me. And like I said, I've done a lot of work for 18 years, and I love that modality. And this is a really nice complement, blend, what have you. And just do it. Do it for yourself. And
Right?
it's not selfish for you to choose you. It's not selfish. I mean, it's the greatest gift that you can give the world.
Yeah. Oh, and I know that like to me the greatest compliment, and when something is working, is when the people that we care about and the people we love, we want to share this with. And I know for a fact that Lumi was like sharing it like, hey, this, well, and partly because your friends and the people that adore you were like, you were really awesome before, Lumi, but something's changed.
Yeah.
Like you're really showing up in the world differently. Like what are you doing?
Right. Right.
And she's like, oh, I did TYP, when TYP stands for the Transform Yourself program.
Right.
So yeah, very, very dynamic. Well, and so much so that I know that Lumi has gone from doing the Transform Yourself and having huge upgrades already to moving into Creation Academy. So I'm very excited
Yes.
about sharing that and that
Yep.
space with you. So yeah. So what drew you, while I have you, what drew you to actually even, going through and having all these successes and then going, hey, you know what? I'm going to go even further with this.
Yeah. So, so at first I was like, well, Creation Academy, it's a larger investment than the TYP. It's a longer time investment. And then I was looking at what's available and I just followed my awareness. Like my awareness said, this is what's next. And I looked at like the payment programs and stuff like that. And the old me would have been like, well, I don't know how I'm going to make those payments without taking money from somewhere else. And I was just like, okay, universe, like I'm doing this. This is what my awareness is telling me is next. And I'm going to let you figure out how those payments are going to come into being.
Yeah.
And
Isn't,
so,
yeah.
sorry.
No, keep going.
And just, anytime that I get that little like, I'm like, all right, universe, I trust you. I know that you're going to show me where that investment's coming from.
Yeah.
And so I just keep reiterating like this. I know that this is the next step with every fiber of my being because my awareness told me so. And I'm listening to all of my awarenesses now. And so I'm doing it. And I just know it's going to be magical. And to find out like there are 4 things every single week for a year, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Right.
And there's, it's going to keep me on this path. And normally I would try to do it myself and I would, rewatch all the modules but no, I'm choosing for me right now. And now I choose for me. And choosing for me is Creation Academy. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah.
Well, like, and I know that one of the things that you've really leaned even further into is really that faith and trust of your awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the things that you really start to develop as you go through the modules.
Yes.
That Cory has created. Like there's so many amazing goodies that are in there. Like you cannot not have a shift,
right?
In that, unless you are not doing any of it,
right?
Right? Yeah. Like if you're going in and watching the modules and you're doing your set, like you cannot not have some type of shift,
right?
In your world.
One of the biggest modules for me, I mean, I loved all of them, but the biggest one was the one about integrity, because going into that, I'm like, I've got no problem with this module. And then when she was talking about integrity with yourself, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's crunchy right there. That sticks because, yeah. And I just went all in with that as well. And I think that aside from the first 2 modules before we ever had our onboarding call, they rocked my world. And that integrity one, I was just like, oh, yeah, that was a big one too. So, I mean, they're all very, very special. And yeah.
Yeah, there's gems,
yes,
throughout the whole thing.
yes.
So if anybody is actually interested in the Transform Yourself program, Erin is going to drop the link into the comments. And the banner across the screen is also if you're interested in actually taking the quiz, because it'll actually kind of pinpoint what area you might need some support in. And it's actually surprising because that's one of the things I even heard from some of the coaches of like, and other individuals like, oh, I was actually surprised. This is what, came up. And then they, go, oh, but you know what? I actually get it. So, well, thank you, Lumi, so much.
You're so welcome.
Before we sign off, though, this is a question I love to ask everyone. So, when I'm just having conversations, what is a brilliance or something that's unique about what Cory brings to the table than other programs, because like many, like you and like me, many people have done so many different things.
Right.
What was unique about this?
You know, I'm used to doing, gosh, how can I answer this? Like, I'm used to doing sessions where it's a guided visualization and this, that, and the other thing. And we didn't really do any of that in this program. And so she was able to get to, like, okay, let's look at what these energetic addictions have been. Like, every step of the way, she was able to uncover things that were like unconscious patterns, unconscious drives, and we were able to shed light on those and to be able to choose, like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I used to fill in the blank. Now and bringing to awareness that we actually have a choice and we can choose to act a different way. We can choose like a different thing or pattern, you know, like to replace, to, I don't know, like weed out that pattern without any kind of like other session. I'm sorry, I don't know how to describe it adequately, but it got to the root of these things, and just shedding a big light on it
Yeah.
was so helpful, and going, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah.
And I was able to have awarenesses about patterns that have been running in the background. Oh, I'm choosing something different now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah.
One of the things, and I think that you said that really well, because a big part of it is that our default, and a lot of things that we do take or do are like clear, 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 clear. And we're bypassing where it's like, she's going right to, what is the subconscious program? What is this pattern? We can clear all we want, but if we don't address this is just going to keep running.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, and we got choice in
Yeah.
shifting something. So I think you said it very well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. And
I appreciate it.
oh my goodness, I look actually forward to 1 year from now, this conversation again, and see who you are, who I am, who we've all become.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
1 year's time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll set a date.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm so grateful. I am incredibly grateful for like you and Cory and this program and everything. So
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing it. And I just want to give you a great big whoosh of energy to everything that you are creating. One, two.
you.
And thank you, everybody. I don't see any
everybody that's on
in the comments. Oh, there we go. There is some. Let me just. Yeah, it just says you are great, Lumi.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody have a great, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it is for you guys.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.